You know that voice. Some call it the sound of gravel being crushed by a freight train. Others say it's like a rusty gate swinging in the wind. This is what some say about Bob Dylan's voice. While he may not be the best singer, he's a great songwriter. Think about it. How many other songwriters can claim their songs sound better when someone else sings them? Dylan's genius wasn't in his vocal cords, but in his pen. He wrote the soundtrack of the 60s, but it was other artists who brought these songs to the masses. His voice might have been an acquired taste, but his words, pure gold. Some say Dylan's rough delivery was actually a blessing in disguise. It made his songs blank canvases for other artists to paint on. Born Robert Allen Zimmerman in Duluth, Minnesota, Bob Dylan arrived in New York City's Greenwich Village in 1961 with nothing but an acoustic guitar and raw talent. Within months, he was revolutionizing folk music with his poetic lyrics and distinctive voice. Did you know he wrote Blowin' in the Wind in just 10 minutes at a cafe? Or that he rarely plays a song the same way twice? His unconventional approach to music would influence countless artists who'd later reimagine his songs in ways even Dylan himself didn't expect. Blowin' in the Wind became Peter, Paul and Mary's ticket to stardom in 1963, hitting number 2 on Billboard's Hot 100. The trio transformed Dylan's rough-edge protest song into a polished folk anthem. While Dylan's originally barely cracked the charts, Peter, Paul and Mary's version brought his message of social justice to millions of homes. Years later, Stevie Wonder would reinvent it again with a soulful rendition that proved Dylan's words knew no musical boundaries. The song's universal message about questioning authority and seeking truth remains relevant today. Dylan once remarked that even he didn't fully understand all the song's meanings, saying it wrote itself through him. Jimi Hendrix took All Along the Watchtower and turned it into something so revolutionary that Dylan himself adopted Hendrix's arrangement for his live performances. Released in 1968, Hendrix's version emerged during one of America's most turbulent years. The psychedelic guitar work and apocalyptic tone captured the chaos of the era perfectly. When asked about Hendrix's cover, Dylan said, "I like Jimmy's record, and ever since he died, I've been doing it the same way. Strange how when I sing it, I always feel it's a tribute to him." Interestingly, Hendrix recorded his version just months after Dylan's original appeared on John Wesley Harding. The song took on new life in Hendrix's hands, with its intricate guitar work and dramatic arrangement. U2's later cover would pay tribute to both Dylan and Hendrix, proving the song's enduring power. If you love to hear the music and listen to these stories, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss a single video. The Byrds struck gold with Mr. Tambourine Man, transforming Dylan's folk meditation into a jangly rock masterpiece. Their 1965 cover topped the charts and helped birth folk rock as a genre. The fascinating part? Only Roger McGuinn from the Byrds actually played on the recording. The rest was performed by session musicians from the Wrecking Crew. McGuinn's 12-striking Rickenbacker guitar created a signature sound that would influence countless bands, including the Beatles. Dylan's surreal lyrics about freedom and escapism found a perfect match in the Byrds' ethereal harmonies. When Dylan first heard their version, he was reportedly speechless, and in a good way. Adele introduced Make You Feel My Love to a new generation in 2008, proving Dylan's words could touch hearts across decades. Originally released on Dylan's 1997 album Time Out of Mind, the song became one of the most covered works. Garth Brooks recorded it in 1998, Billy Joel in 1997, and each version brought something unique to the table. What's remarkable about this song is its simplicity. It's a pure love song without Dylan's usual complex metaphors. Adele's emotional delivery made it feel like a modern classic, while maintaining the timeless quality of Dylan's writing. The song has become a popular choice at weddings, something Dylan probably never imagined when he wrote it. We're halfway through the Bob Dylan hits. If you're enjoying these musical stories, give us a thumbs up and share this video with fellow music lovers. Guns N' Roses took Knockin' on Heaven's Door and turned it into a hard rock prayer. Dylan wrote it for the 1973 film Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, but Guns N' Roses' 1991 version gave it new life during the Gulf War. The power of Dylan's simple lyrics about mortality and surrender resonated across generations. Eric Clapton's reggae-tinged version in 1975 showed yet another side of the song. Dylan himself approved of these diverse interpretations, saying, "Songs have a life of their own once they leave your hands." The song continues to be performed at crucial moments in history, including by Roger Waters at the Berlin Wall's fall. Peter, Paul, and Mary returned to Dylan's songbook with "Don't Think Twice, It's All Right," bringing their signature harmonies to this tale of a relationship's end. The irony of this gentle-sounding song lies in its biting lyrics. Dylan wrote it after his girlfriend, Susie Rotolo, left for Italy, leaving him heartbroken in Greenwich Village.
Just time, don't think twice, it's all right.
Joan Baez, Dylan's former lover and musical collaborator, brought her own pain to the version, having lived through a similar story with Dylan himself. Eric Clapton later stripped the song to its blues roots, proving that beneath the folk exterior beat a blues heart. Each performer found something personal in Dylan's words about love and loss. Johnny Cash and June Carter took "It Ain't Me, Babe" and transformed it into a country duet that spoke to their own legendary romance. The fascinating twist? Dylan wrote it as a rejection song, yet Cash and Carter turned it into a love story. The Turtles had already made it a pop hit in 1965, but Cash's version gave it new meaning.
But it ain't me, babe. No.
The song became a statement of honest love, not the idealized romance of pop songs, but the real, flawed kind where partners accept each other's limitations. Cash and Dylan's friendship would span decades, with mutual respect that showed how music could bridge the gap between folk and country. Rod Stewart found deep meaning in Forever Young, releasing his own song of the same name inspired by Dylan's original. Written for Dylan's son Jacob, the song carries a father's hopes and fears for his child's future. Stewart's version became a pop hit, while maintaining the emotional core of Dylan's paternal message. Dylan actually recorded two versions of the song for his 1974 album, Planet Waves, a slow, tender rendering and a faster rock version. The song's universal message of hope for the next generation continues to resonate with parents and children alike. When Joan Baez covered it, she brought a mother's perspective to these fatherly words. We're sharing memories that span generations here. What songs did your parents share with you? Which ones have you passed down to your children? Share your family's musical heritage in the comments below. And if you're finding value in these musical stories, make sure to subscribe and share with friends who appreciate good music and great stories. Nina Simone brought Just Like a Woman to new emotional heights, turning Dylan's complex portrait into a statement about womanhood itself. Van Morrison's raw take emphasized the song's bluesy undertones, while Jeff Buckley's ethereal vision highlighted its poetic qualities. Originally criticized as sexist by some, the song has been reclaimed by female artists who found deeper meaning in its verses. Dylan wrote it allegedly about Edie Sedgwick, though, like many of his songs, its true inspiration remains debated.
Just like a woman.
The song's power lies in its ability to be both deeply personal and universally relatable. Each artist who covered it seemed to find their own story within its lines. George Harrison's friendship with Dylan led to his tender version of If Not For You, a rare Dylan love song without a bitter edge. Harrison's slide guitar and warm vocals brought out the song's sweetness, while Olivia Newton-John later gave it a pop polish that took it to new audiences.
If not for you.
The song represented a softer side of Dylan, written during his happiest domestic period. Harrison recorded it shortly after the Beatles' breakup, perhaps finding solace in its simple message of gratitude for love. It's one of the few Dylan songs that's purely joyful, without his trademark irony or social commentary. Johnny Cash returned to Dylan's work with Girl from the North Country, their duet becoming a testament to their musical brotherhood. The song's origins trace back to Dylan's early days in Minnesota, inspired by his first serious girlfriend. Dylan borrowed the melody from the traditional English song Scarborough Fair, creating something both ancient and modern. Rod Stewart would later cover it, bringing his raspy emotion to this tale of lost love. The song's enduring appeal lies in its universality. Everyone has a memory of someone they once loved, wondering what became of them. It's a perfect example of how Dylan could take personal experience and make it universal. Warren Zevon recorded a haunting version of Knockin' on Heaven's Door shortly before his own death, bringing new meaning to Dylan's meditation on mortality. The story goes that Dylan wrote it quickly for the film Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, but its impact has far outlived its origins. Each cover seems to reflect its era, from Bob Marley's reggae version during Jamaica's turbulent 1970s to Guns N' Roses' power ballad take during the Gulf War.
And I feel I'm knocking on heaven's door.
The song became a global peace anthem, sung at the Berlin Wall's fall and at memorial services worldwide. The White Stripes brought raw garage rock energy to Lovesick, performing it at live shows with an intensity that matched Dylan's world-weary original. The song, from Dylan's late-career Renaissance album Time Out of Mind, proved he could still write songs that connected with younger generations. Jack White's guitar work emphasized the song's underlying desperation, while staying true to its blues roots.
I guess I'm lost.
It showed how Dylan's later work could be just as compelling as his classic material, speaking to eternal themes of love and loneliness. Dylan's voice might not have won any awards, but it changed music forever. While countless artists turned his songs into polished gems, Dylan's original recordings remain powerful because they're real, unvarnished, and straight from the heart. In a way, his voice was like an old blues record. Not pretty, but filled with soul and meaning. Over 600 artists have recorded Blowin' in the Wind alone, but none of those covers would exist without Dylan's courage to sing it his way first. His Nobel Prize in Literature wasn't for his singing. It was for giving us words that defined an era, words that still ring true today. So here's to Bob Dylan, the man who proved you don't need a perfect voice to change the world. You just need something real to say.